battery was messed up.
Ready?
Let's get it.
Hello.
1, 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're about to start.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All
Make
right.
sure you focus on me.
See, again, I knew they was gonna come in here and act like it was a damn podcast. It's not y'all.
Visually started.
I
Make sure
just
y'all
got
can't see
here.
my ankles.
All right. I ain't never gonna get this shit started. Okay. Okay, welcome to another episode of Ken of Comedy. I am your host, Jerrica.
I go by the name Dante Hill.
It's your boy Tom Harris Jr.
And thank you and shout out to everybody who was listening. We have a amazing episode today.
Make sure that y'all follow, like, and subscribe to the page, Ken of Comedy Podcast on YouTube. We have a very special episode today.
I got it now.
Jerrica got it.
Hit me up. Are you the co-host or you the host? The host.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Yeah, so we got a super fun episode today. We got our dads in the building.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
want to introduce yourselves? Go ahead, you go first.
This is JB Smoove in the building.
No, it's you.
AKA Caesar.
The Black Caesar.
Man, we should got
AKA bring the ruckus.
Who we got over here?
And I'm Rob Stapleton. And
The boy talent right here, the real talent.
That's a real town. That's crazy.
His name is James.
That's facts.
Your name is.
we here
not
though.
lying.
We here to support, and your guys are doing a great job too.
Thank you.
They're doing a great job. We proud of y'all.
Appreciate that, bro.
Proud of y'all.
Yes.
We wouldn't have been able to do this without y'all sperm, so we appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Shout out to our
That's
sperm
You know what I'm
donors.
saying?
That's a
Salute.
fact. Yeah, that's real. That's real. I don't
Never
care.
looked at it like that.
Yeah, that's facts.
So I guess we should start.
If you only
I feel
knew
like-
how you was conceived.
We'll get right into it though. Yeah, too much.
Too soon.
I didn't
Too
think that I didn't think that we would be able to make this episode happen so soon. We kind
know.
of spontaneously got on the line last week, and we heard JB was gonna be in town for a
Yes.
few weeks, and they got together to do this with us real easy. I didn't really think we had much of
Yeah.
a problem lining it up, which I
thank
think
y'all for
speaks
being
more to the fact that they miss each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
As soon as they walk through the
yeah.
door, it is.
Talent and JB got a private room 3 minutes into being there. We'll be in the front.
This whole episode could be about Mount Vernon. But like you were saying, it's we're all busy, but it all fell in line. And the last time the three of us were in a room together, like we can't. I think I still had hair back then. So yeah, the last time the three of us were in a room together, there had been two of us, but the three of us. I mean, if we're ever in a restaurant, we're gonna get kicked out because we just laugh and reminisce.
Oh,
Like we're
look
gonna
how
do this
nice.
episode.
Look at us bringing our dads together. I love
Look at
this.
us.
Look
So
at
who were the
us.
first two of y'all to meet?
Them two.
Those two.
Yeah, me and JB met.
man.
When I first started doing comedy, I started in the mainstream rooms. And, I was hitting the comic strip. And it's nothing wrong. That was just what I saw in the paper on Sundays, the comedy club. Like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, these are the spots. It wasn't internet. It was, you looked it up. And then I was down there. I met this guy who became a legend of Sub Hamburger.
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 Another guy named Derek Shante Fox.
Fox.
And later on, Cool Bubba Ice. And they said, man, you got to come up to this club, the Uptown Comedy Club.
So you gotta fuck with the niggas.
Yo, tell on the real. That's what he was saying.
On the real,
Yeah,
bro.
JB, am I right? Pretty much.
Absolutely.
That's right.
What y'all don't understand is this. Back then, we talking about the hip hop 50 now. You gotta realize how far stand-up comedy goes back.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking? We talking about it goes back way further than hip hop could ever imagine.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But I will say that in the metropolitan area, you gotta realize working all day, going to do a set somewhere.
And we all had jobs back then. 9 to 5 jobs.
And now imagine this. Imagine every major city in the United States got the same thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Cats you have never heard of. Killing people in Chicago. Killing them in Dallas.
Yes.
Killing them in Houston.
But give the analogy
Never heard
like
these
you
dudes in
said.
our lives. But
Give the analogy like you said. Like imagine you were an Avenger.
yeah, imagine you're an Avenger, right? You an Avenger. You already in your little Avenger crew. All y'all got powers.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Right.
there's other cats around the world with powers.
Yes.
You know, another motherfucker can fly over here. Some dude over here turning invisible too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And the dude who's an Ant-Man. He's a little motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that's what it was like.
That's really wild.
It
That's
really
a
was
great
like that.
analogy.
But
That's a great analogy.
Never heard of them. Never met them in your life. So as big as our world was really small.
Yes.
It wasn't huge. You know, New York is not big. It's not as big as you think it is.
And the black circuit was underground.
It was underground.
underground.
So that network was small. So when you meet people, you meet people.
Yep.
They become your real friends because you have direct contact to them. You meet somebody like me and Rob met. Man, come on, we hit it all right away.
Right away. And it's like I said, when Hamburger, I'm saying invited, just put it in my ear about come uptown to the, and I'm from uptown. I'm from the Bronx. I'm like, how do you, and he's from Jersey. I'm like, how do you know about a club in Harlem that I don't really even know about? And back then, there wasn't no sign that said like Uptown Comedy Club, walk through this door. It was just like a word of mouth type of thing. Way before the internet, you get a flyer or somebody told you. And when you walked in the club, it was like the Fight Club. Anybody ever saw the movie The Fight Club? Where it was just like bare knuckle, bare knuckle. Like you go downtown, it was like everybody had, 2 drinks and but up there it was like
and look, it had been going on way before you even thought about going in. It had already been going on. That's the only way you could walk somewhere and see a line going around the block. Like, yo, I never even heard of this spot. And everybody knew about it in Harlem, the Bronx. Everybody knew about this club that we didn't know existed.
I remember the first, and then they used to do a thing called the New Jack segment. So the New Jack segment, it wasn't like all these clubs where you could go on all of these days. Like that club was only on Sunday. Right? So when you got to go on after you were there for a few months and your Sunday came, I remember that as if it was last week. Right? It was me, JB, and another comedian named Kenny Williams.
Y'all was together on that?
And we were, because they had there was like no green room. It was like a backstage that was like just a hall. And we were back there. And then Kadeem Hardison would come in. Wesley Snipes would come in. And they would all come up to it. And the week that we performed, we were like a scene from Spike Lee, like just sitting there floating. And they would come and try to say hi to us, and we'd just be like this. Because we knew we would get ready to go on. It's like Gladiator. Like, oh, you're not entertained. Jamie, am I lying?
No, you're not lying.
And then when Monteria did that hum to a roar, when he had the crowd, I mean, it wasn't just a crowd where they were out there. You sat in the middle of a circle, and everybody stomped their feet, and it was like,
and all the way
if you came late,
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
You could be 2 blocks away and hear people laughing.
Yes.
Hear them stomping their feet, man. And you like, yo.
Yes.
You trying to hurry up and get there? You like, yo, this joint is packed again. But when I first walked in that club that night, Rob was on stage. I had never been there before. So when I got there, I think that was your first day too.
Yes.
Rob was already on stage. So I'm sitting in the back of the room. I ain't gonna lie now. I'm gonna be honest now. Rob noticed. Uptown Comedy Club was a death trap.
It was, oh yeah. One way in, one way out. It was like Queensbridge.
Or you get one person smoke that cigarette and pluck that bud, that lit bud somewhere like that. These niggas alive. Flick that fucking cigarette butt somewhere. No, he ain't bullshitting.
Totally.
No.
Right?
He ain't lying.
You there nervous sometimes like, yo, if something should happen.
Yes. Oh, shit. Yes.
But it was that packed. No seats. People standing up in the back.
Yeah, and it wasn't tables like, these clubs that got tables with 4, 5, 6 people
just
around it. It was theater rows.
Were they like at a bar or something? Like,
there was no bar.
They took an intermission where you could go
Outside.
get something to eat and come back. Like in 15 minutes, they had a little intermission. They had these famous chicken wings and stuff that they had.
But you were standing?
It was like the Fight Club.
Bowery or
and
something.
Mrs. Brown would have them wings.
The wings.
The whole thing.
And the homeless guy used to come and just drink the juice. JB, remember the homeless guy used to come and drink the juice from the wings?
Ask for the juice when he finished. He wanted the juice remaining.
Wait, for real?
Drinking the grease?
Those wings would be sitting in that metal pan.
Where did juice
like,
come
like,
from?
like a hot
The juice
tub.
from the chicken.
Like a hot tub of wings.
Yes.
And the wings,
It was like barbecue, like a barbecue
The
type
barbecue
of.
wings would be sitting on the edge like a jacuzzi.
Jerrica, you entitled. You never had that chicken juice?
That was the first movie.
No.
Sitting there
Wait,
waiting,
so-
just waiting to be put in a bowl and eating.
And he would drink it for real?
Yup. It was like, he would just drink it. He would. We just be looking at him like,
no way.
Yo, he would drink.
I got an interview him.
You know how those aluminum pans?
Yep.
He would bend that bad boy a little bit, make that little.
I can't tell
He didn't want to spill nothing.
Bend it a little
He didn't want
bit.
to spill nothing.
I can't tell if they
That little
joking.
fall apart. Yeah.
And Jerrica, you know the crazy part? He be there again the next week.
Wait for
I
that.
really can't tell if they
chicken
playing.
juice.
No, we are not
Yeah,
playing
that's
around.
So to answer your question, them two
Yeah, we met
linked up
first.
first.
Yeah.
A few years later, your father would start his own room on the border of Mount Vernon and the Bronx, 241st White Plains Road. Shout out to the Lady I.
Lady I.
Lady
And he would be the first dude to put me on stage for 3 minutes of the New Jack segment.
Aw.
That was my first time.
Yes.
Fell in
So
love
you
with
guys
it. No
each
y'all
met
knew-
each other at New Jack segment.
No, but did y'all
Well,
not?
he was running shit.
So I have my own room.
Mount Vernon is where
In
they
Mount
do
Vernon.
it.
Y'all went to high school
Right.
before
We're
that.
talking about Uptown Comedy Club.
Right,
That's
right.
a different
No,
I'm
no,
club.
no.
gonna go back a little further. I'm gonna go a little further.
Okay.
Now, me and this young man also grew up in the same projects.
Yes.
Oh,
Young brother, young
okay.
man.
Mount
That's
Vernon.
crazy.
Same in the
Okay.
I know y'all
projects of
came up in the
Mount
same
Vernon.
project.
Me
So
neither.
I knew talent when he was a little kid.
And he was rapping.
No, I'm going back a little further.
Oh, Vernon?
Little
I wanna hear about that.
little bad little motherfucker. Whole family bad. Like, almost bad news. But they was doing primitive bullshit to you. Like one time I seen a brother tie a motherfucker to a chair. Like, why is this
for
motherfucker in
real?
the grass? Where you get the fucking chair from? Like, where did the chair come from? Took his belt off and tied the motherfucker to a chair and just left him there. I said, these niggas
left him there. Somebody gotta check on dog.
like unorthodox shit.
Nigga,
Like,
Floyd was with
weird
us.
shit.
That's your brother.
Your brother was with us.
No, it's bad ass family. They bad. They bad.
It was
They
Floyd Bell.
fucking bad. But I knew time when he was a kid.
That's true.
So to start that room and Talon was rapping. You finished telling your story, but man, I knew Talon forever, man. So it's like I see him from
like-
a kid to someone who was in my circle and ready to do other things outside of his music.
Right.
When you talk about like humble beginnings, so we already know each other from projects growing up, but we were at like some outdoor festival in Mount Vernon in Memorial Field. And JB, like back then, it ain't like today, y'all got social media, just put a flyer on social media.
Right.
People in the streets with paper, ain't no Kinkos yet. You had to go to some real copy shit.
Yeah.
And JB had these yellow flyers. Remember like yesterday, these yellow printed flyers about this big, and he walking through the park, mad people, hundreds of people. Hey, come to Sunday night, we got the Sunday night pop. So he handed it to me and AD out there, and I'm like, yeah, we should do this. AD like, yeah, let's go check it out. So when we go sit down and take it all in, I'm like, this some shit I always wanted to do, but I always thought it was a hobby. These dudes are for real.
Yeah.
So I watched the first show, Atomic Dog, Carlton from the Uptown, Franz Cassius, and Rhonda Fowler. And I'm like, yo, this is dope. We got to come back next week. Go back next week. Hamburger's performing. So myself and AD are sitting in a two-piece table right there, two-seater, and AD, King, because we snapping the hood, King Heckler. He's heckling Hamburger.
King Heckler.
And Hamburger to this day think it's me.
He
So
heckled a hamburger?
Wait,
Hamburger,
what?
so Hamburger think it's me though. So he started killing me from the stage. Oh, little motherfucker. And I'm saying like, yo, it ain't me. But I'm not saying, I'm like what do they call it? Dry snitching because nigga, do the math. If it's two of us and I say it ain't me, but he kept killing me. So I'm like, nigga, I'm the number one snap in Mount Vernon. You can't go back to Jersey with me feeling like this. I go outside, wait on this nigga like it's a real fight. He come outside, say, out. He's like, oh, you want some more? I say, yeah, I do. Like a circle, a little cipher gathered, like niggas about to really fight. Lit his ass up.
Lit him
And he
up.
just stopped. After the last snap hit him, zinged him, he went, yo, you good nigga, man. You should think about doing it. That's how I got started.
Yeah.
But that was like, see, I always try to tell people about how, you know, it's like weird. Even though you're doing it already, you are actually a part of building something amazing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That
Yes.
you can claim, you can build something with people who have like minds like yourself. And here's the thing that really made it special was everybody had their, and I use that superhero, metaphor because I feel like we all had a unique thing that we did on stage. And because you were building it and because it was not so big yet,
Yeah.
it
We
was
didn't know where it was going to
It
go.
was big, but for our area,
Not for us.
everybody knew your style. Everybody knew your style. They knew your style. So it's almost like when you do a show at like Uptown or wherever, people who know and have come out to the clubs, man, they start smiling. Once they introduce your name, they start smiling, leaning forward a little bit. Oh, my man, crazy. I love this dude.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Watch this.
I hope we do that. You know what I mean? They want to see their favorite bits back then.
Yeah.
Which is our version of what social media has become. It's kind of like our version of that because we made a name for ourselves in this metropolitan area, and we became like people who were wanted, and they wanted to see you perform. But I don't think they realized that you were actually building something that was about to be the biggest thing in comedy.
You know, it's funny you say
No
that, right?
Def Jam, no BET,
Right.
None of that stuff was thought about yet.
Yes.
None of that stuff was. So literally,
Yes.
this is the grassroots of what that, but being a black comedian was.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was just different from going downtown to the white clubs. Different.
And you know, to add to what you're saying, JB, sometimes you would see first impressions always something.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first saw talent, when it was funny because when we first started doing this comedy thing, they would do flyers. You know what I mean? It was like nothing on your phone, like flyers. And you would get your feelings hurt if you gave out flyers or somebody was giving out flyers and your flyer was on the floor.
Yeah.
And you see your face on the floor and people walking on your face. And you felt personal. Like, yo, bitch, don't take a flyer if you don't want one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were getting really upset about it.
Yeah.
So I had Rob was born at this time, and I was working at the phone company. I had a 9 to 5 at the phone company.
Rob worked right down the street.
And Rob
From Lady I.
Rob was born. So I learned that I could take a thing called paternity leave. You always know that the mothers could take a year off. I realized in the phone company, they said I could take a year off. And you got to realize.
That's nice.
I thought he was about to say paternity test. I heard about a paternity test because I don't know.
That's another episode.
I also thought the same thing.
But anyway, long story short, I took the year off. I'm like, okay. So I took the year off, and it came to like Sweetwater's and a couple of clubs, and I came back to the Uptown. And I was hearing who the buzz. He's like, man, this guy Faceman is hot. And this dude named Talent. And I was like, Talent? I thought it was like a rapper. I was like, oh, a rapper, whatever. Yeah. And then the first time I seen him, I was like, oh, this dude has the whole package. How y'all doing? Like the girls loved him. The dudes thought he was funny. And I was like, yo, this dude can hang with all the OGs. Like the generation. Can't even say the generation that was before him. Yeah. It was just people that just started a little bit before him. Yeah. He integrated himself right into the pack.
Yep.
And I always remember that, man. You know what I mean? That first impression, I was like, yo, this dude is dope, man.
I mean, we got to love it because, what I call like the hybrids of this shit. Like, we're still here. We're still banging.
Yep.
So we went through that, the renaissance of it, and now we're still banging. So we're the hybrids of it. Like, fun fact is, this dude probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for comedy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I met his mom doing comedy. Remember, I took over Manhattan Proper Cafe. She bagged me. We live in a hybrid situation right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we were talking about the renaissance of it because when you go off of JB's and their timing of it, he's right. Uptown was the hottest shit on the New York side of things, but yet there was no TV outlets yet. The closest thing you had to a TV outlet for us, Showtime at the Apollo was on.
Yeah.
So one at a time would get to go on there. They might have did 2 comedians a season back then. Until when comedy got hot, every show had a comedian. But before that, it was like one a whole season.
And JB, what he's saying is that is definitely true. Yep. So what happened is the producers and the directors over at the Apollo, every time a good comic came out, they would say, where you from? And they would say, from the Uptown Comedy Club. Yeah. So Don Weiner and these guys said, look, that's right up the block. Let's go and check that out. Yeah. So they came and checked it out, and that's how the Uptown Comedy Club got a TV show, Uptown Comedy Club. But what really changed the game is when Russell wanted to jump into the game. He wanted to merge the hip-hop with comedy, the dancing, the fashion, Fat Farm he had. He wanted to fuse it in because hip-hop was a lot of good best rappers are actually funny. Bismarck, they were actually funny. But he knew I'm going to be the one to fuse this together. And when they came for the auditions, when you seen Russell Simmons, who was like a god back then, walk in with the heads of Def Jam music. Stan Lathan, the director, I knew him from directing Sanford and Son and all that type of stuff. And when they sat there, we all looked at each other. We were like, yo, this shit is real. Like, this is about to be on. There was one HBO back then. It wasn't like if people got 8 HBOs, 13 Showtimes.
And you got to realize the difference what made HBO's movement a little more powerful international. Because BET wasn't international back then.
Right.
So locally, your shit could get ran more on BET, but Def Jam, people in England seen you.
Yeah.
People in the Caribbean seen you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? People in Spain and Guam and Japan. So all those people, that's how Def Jam had the longest running comedy tour of all time.
I didn't know that
To me, JB was like the guinea pig, because JB got Def Jam before I did. And I truly, truly, truly was happy for that. There was a lot of people that act like they would pretend friends, and when somebody else got it, they were really upset. But when JB got it, I bust.
That was the next level. That was the next level. You got on that joint. That was literally everybody was like, and here's what, man. You remember those auditions at the Peppermint Lounge? They had these.
You ready to talk about the Peppermint Lounge?
They had these auditions all over the country, but most people came to New York because that's in Jersey. That's where everybody was here. Russell was here. Bob Sumner was here.
Sumner, big shout out to Bob Sumner.
Tina, everybody was.
First of all, I was mad at him.
Everybody was here.
When he got Def Jam,
Mad at him.
I'm gonna tell you why I was mad. Let me tell you what happened.
Real about it.
So Jamie gets Def Jam.
You know what he did.
Well, you mad at him, but people make you mad at him because the thing about the hood was Def Jam became your hood stamp of approval that you can call yourself a professional comedian. They got like that in the hood.
Right.
So in my projects, now I'm doing comedy maybe almost going on 2 years in. I'm a professional. I done quit my job. I make a lot of money. But you talking to the hood, well, you agree? Yeah, man, I did this, that. Did Def Jam? I said, nah.
Yeah.
JB did Def Jam.
You got it from the whole other angle. Okay.
What you was doing? He got it from the Project Building.
That's how they felt, though. Like, they felt the hood. Black people felt like you wasn't a professional comedian. Nobody, I won't watch. You ain't even do Def Jam. So my first television was Showtime at the Apollo, which was a standing ovation, which put me to work nationally and internationally. So the next year, they called me to the auditions, Peppermint Lounge, and I'm like number 18 out of 24, some shit like that. And I'm just over there. Your nerves are on tilt. You like, man. And you watching people go up in flames. Every 4, somebody do decent.
Flames.
Every 4 or 5, somebody do decent. Then 4 or 5 more flames. And somebody do okay. Then 4 more flames. So then my name card go up there, and I destroy my little 8, 9, and whatever they gave you. So they like, you good. You win. So now I ain't quit the job yet during this time. I go to work. I'm handing them my notice. I'm out. Doing Def Jam, fuck all y'all.
Factory job.
Packing shit. I'm running a warehouse in Elmsford. And they said we'll call you in the week. We go by, the call don't come. I call these motherfuckers. Yo, what's up with the call? Yeah, you know this. Yeah, man. Standing there, we can't use you because the music bit, they won't clear the music. So come to find out, if you look at Def Jam, Russell was so smart. He would not play any music on it that wasn't Def Jam recorded. So he kept the money circling in the house through Def Jam. So I had this bit that I closed with.
That's fine.
Only the skit part had Def Jam from Nice and Smooth, but it was Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, and then it was Outstanding on the end. Remember on the floor bit?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let me air. So I didn't air. I missed a whole year and got in, skipped a year later. But so for 2.5 years, fuck JB. Fuck Leslie Jones. No, I'm just
but I'll say this. See, here's the thing about certain comedians and certain circles that you are in, because you even indirectly, you're setting an example, right? You're being courteous to each other, to comedians. Now, we know some assholes. You can't help it. We always had the assholes, and we had the good dudes. And I'll say this too. In New York City, right, there was 2 different cliques of comedians, right? Still black, but there was a group of comics. I don't know if you remember this night, Rob. We were going to Hula Hands all the way down on Wall Street. And we was walking, our little crew, it was like 6 of us walking down the street talking shit, right? Meanwhile, there's 6 other comedians. The eccentric, I call them the eccentric comedians, like Xerox and Rajin. Xerox. Still hilarious. No, still hilarious comedians, but didn't perform where we performed.
Yes.
And we didn't perform where they performed. They coming this way, we coming this way.
Is this like mainstream versus...
It wasn't
urban?
even that.
No?
They were just different.
They were just different than us.
Yeah.
Like Jim Carrey.
But they had their own show that we didn't do their rooms. They didn't do our rooms.
It was always like alternative.
Now Rajin did do our room.
Crazy.
He did our room, but it was like, but there really was a group of comics, and there was just different styles. Still hilarious. We all still did our thing, but we didn't hang together. But we knew each other. We knew we existed, but we didn't hang together like, yo, I'm going to call you tomorrow, Xerox. Or I'm going to call you tomorrow, Rajin. Or I'm going to call you tomorrow. You know what I mean? But they were hilarious. They did their thing. We did our thing. But when we ran into each other at that corner, it was like, oh, shit. Where y'all coming from? We had a gig down here. Where y'all going at? We're going to Hula Hands. They got a comedy night. Oh, word. Like, it was really this, you know what it felt like? Fucking Beach Street. It's almost, you know what? That's what it felt like. Beach
before my
Beach
time.
Street, when cats were running to each other. It's like, shit.
Our faces ain't changed.
Because that was literally
Y'all never seen Beach Street?
I know the name.
Yo, we fucking failed.
I was kidding. That's about Cooley High. They didn't see Beach Street.
I seen Cooley High.
That ain't Cornbread Early.
I see Cornbread Early.
See, look at us. Look at this.
I seen that.
Yeah.
We
But
failed.
JB, that is so true.
Isn't that
man.
crazy?
And the other thing is going back to the Uptown Comedy Club, right? Because that was the foundation. You had All Jokes Aside in Chicago.
Yeah.
You had
Oh my God.
comedy there, Atlanta comedy there. You had different things in different cities. Sorry. But one thing about the Uptown, JB would pick me up every day, right? No, every Wednesday, I believe, right?
We had the workshop.
The workshop. So the
Mondays.
Uptown had a workshop on Mondays. Yeah. So all of these internet comics and all this other stuff, you had to come with a new joke every week.
That was
The Uptown was ran by the Brown brothers, Andre and Kevin Brown, and Andre ran the meeting. So it would be like a circle, just like a full circle like this, and it was Ellen Cleghorn, Maceo, Dougie Doug was the big comic back then, who Bill Cosby ended up picking up.
There was so many people.
And you had to come with one joke. So me and JB would be on the phone during the week, going, oh, what you think about this? Like going back and forth, working on our materials. And then we would maybe not that one. Oh, that's hilarious. Keep that one. Write that one down. And there'll be some weeks where we didn't have anything. And we'd be in the car. When he picked me up, and I hopped in the car, and we driving down to 125th Street. We're trying to make up some shit. We're going. Like,
literally, you had to use your comedic skills, your timing. Because you got to realize, even though it's the same club that you're performing at, it's a different audience every time. It really is. Yeah. Their ears are different that night. Mm-hmm. Who went on before you? You know? And we were big on, I think what was really important was to listen to your audience and ride the wave.
Yes.
You know, and that was really important for that period of time, because you really were at the disposal of who went before you, how the audience is tonight, and an amazing host like Monteria Ivy. You had to have someone who knew where the audience was going, how to bring them back up again, and everybody came on stage to the same exact energy. Mm-hmm. So that playing field was always even until you open your fucking mouth.
You was a master.
And if you wasn't hitting, you wasn't hitting. But he gave everybody the perfect shot to go up there and murder these people.
Well, you was a master at riding the wave. Just to give the younger generation a point of reference visually. So when he said the Brown brothers ran the club, which is the foundation of Uptown Comedy Club, like when you look at Tracy Morgan on 30 Rock, the big dudes behind him, one of the big dudes is Kevin Brown. Mm-hmm. So Tracy, being a derivative coming out of that same background, that same club, they kept that connection. So when he got 30 Rock, he got him work on the set of 30 Rock, acting like, one of the side security dudes and all that stuff. And he did the same thing with The Last OG in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. You'll see Ruperto on there. Mm-hmm. You'll see a lot of cats, the Artie Fruquois stopping by there in episodes. Everybody. So these are all guys that came from that same family.
And I remember, Rob remembers, we remember the first night Tracy got on stage.
Yep.
He got on stage fresh comic. He had a little beanie cap with the little
beanie
propeller
with
on
the
it.
propeller on it.
Walked on stage. He was a little heavier. He was like, had his little belly and stuff.
Yeah.
His mouth sticking out.
Yeah,
We was
yeah.
like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
But he was killing them.
It's killing them.
And we remember that day when he walked on stage. We remember a lot of days, a lot of nights when everybody walked on stage. And we also remember everybody took a turn. You know, everybody who was working on their set, who would have so-so sets, we've seen almost everybody make that turn where they never look back. They were all, once they realized the power they had and they realized what their character was on that stage, they didn't look back. I remember Will first did good.
Yeah.
Remember that night when Will ripped him?
From the Umbrella Palace.
Will
to
was like, oh,
he
Will
jumped into a
got
whole
him.
other set.
Yeah, Will killed him.
Will Simmons.
We remember everybody.
Umbrella Palace,
we all
a hot
were
dog
like,
With the hot dog truck.
I'm gonna take you to the Umbrella
Umbrella
Palace.
Palace. To the Umbrella Palace.
Yo,
But back then,
We remember
comedy
everybody
was like,
coming
it was like Motown music.
Yeah.
When I heard Eric Gordy talked about it, he said all the hits from Motown start from the first beat, it caught you. And then on the outro, it made you want to hear the next record.
Yep.
And comics, we all came into our own where we knew not to waste time. Like we knew the first joke needed to be as good as the last one, just to draw everybody in. And you only had 5 to 7 minutes back then, so it wasn't no messing around. And then you ended big.
Yeah.
So it was just this energy. It made people want to see you again. Like it was branding ourselves before we knew what we were doing.
and don't forget this now, we are all fathers, right? There was that moment, I remember literally leaving work. I worked in Thornwood, and I would literally go home and go straight downtown and find a spot to perform at. And whatever I had to do, I had to do. But I remember exactly, I was going to, this is after I started really getting out a little bit, and started doing some clubs. But that all came from meeting all these comics at Def Comedy Jam. And they all had rooms in these other cities. I remember I was going to Cleveland to do a show. And my baby girl wasn't even born yet, right? But she was almost coming. But you know us, we had to get that money. We had to make some money to pay them bills, man.
Exactly.
I was on a plane going to Cleveland. This was crazy. I was on a flight going to Cleveland in a storm. Plane was rattling. All of a sudden, the inside, all the lights went off, came back on, and the oxygen mask fell from the ceiling.
Oh, shit.
Just on your way to Cleveland?
Yo, on the way to Cleveland. Me and the dude next to me look at each other like
God don't even want you to go to Cleveland.
We was like this. We were both putting our masks on like this. We locked eyes like, yo!
How fucked up is Cleveland? God don't even want you to
Yo!
go.
We were putting our joint on. We was like, yo, this is crazy. Yo, and then the plane started doing this, and we thought the plane was going down. But because the pressure got lost, they got to get the pressure back.
Yeah.
So they got to descend. Man, yo, it's like a roller coaster. Your belly dropped, and you were like this. Yo!
Amazing,
Me and him was like this. Well, it was nice meeting you, bro.
And that was the first Spirit airline flight.
That is the story of Spirit Airlines.
No.
But so I say that because, we have a journey that we wanted to be on, right? We wanted to do this amazing gift that we have to make people happy. But I tell you what that did to me was, when I went back home, the first thing I did, quit my job.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that this is what I should be doing. And I quit that job, man.
That
I
parachute
quit my
open.
job the day Jerrica was born.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And
Scared my
what
mom.
Here's what that
Man,
did.
yeah, I'm dead, yo.
Shout out to my mother.
Did he?
Oh, shit. I quit that job
Where the money at?
the day my daughter was
Right.
born. But what that did was, it made me realize that this is what, I found out you can do this thing that we have, this gift we have, if you lean on your job,
Yeah. It's a
never
crutch.
Facts.
do it. You
Yep.
never do it to the
And enables
to the
you.
level you want to do it in, because you always got that. You're too tired. You can't just.
You're not
One of them
100%
gotta
committed
go.
to it.
That's
Yeah.
what he was
One
5
of them
months in
gotta
the
go.
belly when I said the
One
same
gotta
thing.
go.
It was physically taxing.
Yeah.
It was like I can't keep getting up early to make this physical job, then hanging out, hit the circuit, because the rooms were spread out. So we out to 1, 2 in the morning. And I got to get up at 5.
Go back to work.
And, he was 5 months. She was 5 months pregnant with him. And I'm like, yo, I got to quit. And the good thing I love my family for, because I caught no backlash, no flack. Nobody said nothing negative about it. Everybody just like took the ride. Rent was $1,000 a month. I had $6,000 saved up. So this shit had to pop in 6 months.
Pop. Yeah.
Boy, I got to abort this nigga.
6,000. Also, too late. Way too
I'm glad you did
Too late. Not back then. It wasn't too late.
You with the hanger.
Sperm was gone.
I used to work at like I was saying earlier, I used to work at the phone company. And if you remember, this is how a long time ago it was, when directory assistance was the thing.
Wow.
Remember before Google, if you wanted something, you dial 411 to get information, right on 241st Street. Right? I was there, and I knew because we were getting money, man. We were young, getting money, and 2-3 shows a night, hanging out at the after party, looking at your joint, being like, oh, I got to be to work in like 4 hours. And I'd go to work and I'd be so tired, right? I would and then have 2 more shows that night. And the thing is, when you are 411 operated, they listen in on you sometimes. Like you sometimes you do like 1,200 calls. So sometimes the managers are listening. And somebody called and asked for the Bronx Zoo. And I knew I had to leave my job when I said, what borough's that in? And I said, I got to go. It's time for me to go. That's a true story.
I never heard
I left like a little bit after that.
I think that's where
That really stayed with you?
It stayed with me. I said, wait, you never put the Bronx Zoo.
But I think that's that term where, you know, it made you hungry because you knew that was your only form of income was your craft.
Yeah.
And it changed everything.
So the time when y'all
That's
made
when
that,
you started getting them jobs and them gigs are popping in. You're like, yo.
Okay.
Because you can do it.
so y'all didn't quit y'all jobs until you already had some money coming in from comedy.
It's not even the money part.
No.
It's knowing that I can do this. I gotta do this on a full-time basis if I really want to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had cats coming in the uptown. Remember the bus driver? What's his name? Jeff the bus driver.
Jeff
That was
the
his
bus
name
driver.
because his ass was a real bus driver. You know what I mean?
Probably performed in uniform.
But, you know what I mean? But do you know how many comics we started with?
Well, I felt like I met him.
Who didn't continue?
These are new bus
Who didn't
drivers.
continue
Their
their
journey.
journey?
They didn't make the journey.
They didn't continue
There's
their
a
journey.
lot of people
They
that
stopped.
fell across the side. But to your point, I did strategically made sure I had enough stability. Like I said, rent was $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So I remember, first of all, you know, you're young and you fucking done like, I don't know, 21 or whatever. So I'm like, I'm doing the fucking lopsided math because I got the 401k at the job, right?
Right.
So, they give you all these sheets, you 80% vested. The shit look good on paper. But when you go to pull that shit out, it ain't shit. So I'm like, oh, I'm 80% vested, 75,000. Oh, I could quit this motherfucker, take this money, boom, boom. So I waited until I was the host of 3 rooms. I had hosted Indigo Blues, I got the Manhattan Proper, and I got Peppermint Lounge.
Yep.
And then later I would get to Boston. So I had 4 actual rooms that I knew I was getting 125, 150 every week. So I did the numbers, 4 weeks times $150 times 4, rent's paid. The bills are paid, so I can quit now. So if nobody called me to ever leave New York to do something else, I still could pay my rent because I got a baby on the way. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to take this 401k out. When I took that shit out, the dude said, you sure? Because there's a lot of penalties. I go, fuck. I'm looking at $76,000. I go, fuck, what's going to be about 58? Give me that shit. That shit was $6,000. And I said, damn, this shit got to pop in 6 months.
But $6,000 in the 90s, that's like $100,000.
Not when your rent's $1,000. That shit is clockwork. Rent don't go nowhere.
Yo, Sal,
And y'all really think I'm a drug dealer.
remember first doing colleges? I remember because this would be JB was like every day, and Keith Green or whatever booked us for a college, and colleges, man, you got to realize they paid us $1,000, $1,200. That was everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had broke my leg playing on the softball team still at the Funk. I didn't quit yet.
Right.
So I was like on my way. So this 1,200 would help push me through the door. So me and JB in the car, and we driving up to the show, and I'm on crutches. I had like cast on my leg. And as you know how animated on stage me and JB are, we all over. And I'm like, I'm pulling the Bill Cosby today. Like, I'm gonna sit in the chair and get through this. But the most fun, it was one of my worst shows ever. But the best part about that was just being in the car with this fool and just coming up with material. We were talking about why deer always get hit on the road, but they make it to the side. Like, who picks the deer up or the animal? And your classic joke about the cop who's
the police
that's off that day, jumping for the bridge and chasing the car.
Country cop.
Man, I've seen 10 different versions of it, people doing his joke.
Oh man, but
A car with him?
Yeah.
but that's what.
It's like that.
See, that's people. I try to explain this to people all the time, man. That's what makes a comic, man. You know, you find these little things in life, man, that you know that people can connect to and relate to, and that's all we wanted to do back then was relate to people, you know, who had the ear and listened to what we were saying and understood us, and we would take them on a journey and a ride because that's what we love to do.
When we're in a ride together, it's like a group of
crazy.
writers.
Oh my God, we
just riding,
just writing jokes,
bouncing stuff
we
off
did
each
a
other.
thing one time. One time we was drunk as hell, and we just did a list of the best of this, worst of that, right? So one time we like the best people to ride with, comedians. You know, he top of the list because this motherfucker crazy. We did 5.5 hours. That nigga will not stop and come up with shit, right? And so he's like, "No, JB the best." JB said that shit about the deer, the construction. He said, "What do you think the number one killer of the deer is?" He said, "I'm naming all type of shit. Hunters?" He was like, "Nah, nigga, construction." He said, "You gotta figure, you know, we keep building shit." He said, "The deer way over here, he gonna go way over there and see the little girl deer." He said, "It start getting dark. I had to get back to my crew. They done built a wall." This motherfucker said, "What the fuck?" So he the best. And then the worst was Tracy Morgan because I don't know if you remember Rich Lewis. So Rich Lewis, if you see him, he does a lot of commercials now. So Rich Lewis told me the story. Now at the time, Rich is considered like a new jack. So Tracy's taking him with him to be his opener. And they're going to do Boston, 4-hour ride.
Oh, man.
He got a little joke book out. He's going through all his little jokes, what he going to say on stage. So Tracy's talking. And Tracy one of them motherfuckers that he E.F. Hutton. Like when Tracy talking, he'll spell everybody shut the fuck up and listen. So if you ain't paying attention, you get pissed. So Tracy driving, yeah, you know, 'cause bitch, I told the bitch. And he look over this motherfucker in the passenger seat, and he got his little joke book. Tracy grabbed the joke book. The fuck is that? You ain't that shit. On the highway, Rich Lewis was like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Back window like,
It's in the book. I was crying in my room.
Yeah, I remember going to a college with Tracy. We was already like an hour late, and he was driving like 40 miles an hour. And I'm like, dude, we still got an hour and 50 minutes to go. Come on. He would just drive, like you say, he just be talking, you shut right, we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Then he stopped off at a Burger King or something. I'm like,
never gonna get there.
no, the road, right? The road was
hold on,
crazy.
let me get through this, right? So JB, he gets out the car. When he comes back, a cop rolls because you're not supposed to pull in front. You're supposed to park. So the guy comes and blah, 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 blah. And then he arrests Tracy, right? He takes Tracy. I don't have my license at this time, right? So I'm driving this expedition, and I'm driving 40 miles, right? And the cop is going, like, he just, I don't know where he's taking Tracy, so I got to follow him, right? And he pulls over to the side to a little police thing, like it'd be the wait stations for the trucks, it'd be a little police thing, state police thing. He pulls him in there. I guess he realized later on his Tracy from Saturday Night Live because it was like his first year on it, and they let him go. Now we 3 hours late for the show. But those are the different things that we went through. And when you dealt with him with those Tracy, man, he the master of what he do.
Yo, I got two. One
This is
one
Tracy
time-
story?
I got no. This is a Faceman joint.
Oh shit.
So buckle up.
I got
Man,
Faceman stories.
me and Faceman was going to Virginia. And, you know, that's when I had my, what kind of car I had? I think I might have had my red joint. My little red Fiero.
Just before the Jeep?
My little red car. Oh, no, my GT.
Oh, okay.
My Grand Am GT. And we're driving, right? This is crazy. I drove 5 hours straight, right? It was my car, you know. So we pull over to get gas, right? I'm putting gas in. Face get out the car. He said, man, I know you tired, man. You drove like 5 hours. He said, yo, I'll take her for a little while. I said, oh, that's a dope. I said, hell yeah, we about 2 hours away, man. You knock that shit out. We'll be there in no time. I pumped the gas, put the fucking shit back up there, walk around, get in the passenger seat, basically get in the driver's seat. Yo, motherfucker start the car up, pull out of the gas station, right? I had already put the seat back. I said, shit. I'm like, shit, I'm good. My head on my face, I was fucking out.
Laid up.
I'm out. I'm already asleep.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the car started going. You know the side of the road got that little cutout. I'm like, what the fuck going on? Fuck wrong with you? You okay? He pulls over. He said, man, I can't drive. I said, get the fuck out my car, man. I'm about to kill you, man. I can't drive. I said, wait, you can't drive or you can't drive? This motherfucker said, I can't drive. If you don't get the fuck out of my car, man. If you don't get the fuck out of my car, I'ma kill you, man. I'll never get that shit, man.
Oh, man.
I know Jerrica got a question loaded, but I just wanted that. I was curious because I know my dad's origin story. I know y'all all 30 plus years in the comedy, been supporting your families, doing stand-up comedy. I know how he got on stage. I want to know like what got y'all two on stage
That was
for
my
the first
question,
time.
damn it. But that's
That was your
cool.
question? You got the next one.
You got the next.
Damn. Go ahead.
Mine's easy. You know, I got lucky. You know, I went to when I left Marvin High School, I consider myself a hallway clown. You know, I've always been blessed with meeting like the perfect group of people that kind of fed me jokes because they weren't comedians, but these were some funny ass people. You know, Todd on my crew. You know, Todd and everybody. Funniest motherfuckers in the world who would never get on stage though. But you needed one person who was daring enough to make, you know, the life of the party dude. So in high school, I was a hallway clown. You know, in school I was good, 3.0, good, did my work. But hallways, we was notorious. So when I graduated out of high school, I went to a 2-year college. Then I went to Norfolk State University. But I met a whole new group of guys, you know, all from Jersey. All my cats, man. And yo, some of the funniest dudes in the world. You know, and you know what? It's not just meeting people who are funny. It's meeting people who was a safe space. Wasn't nobody wild. Wasn't nobody carrying guns. Wasn't nobody fucking the party up. These are like regular ass dudes who I just got blessed to end up in the right circles all the time. And on that campus, right, one year, I was always doing crazy shit with them, funny shit. And they had a dating game, you know, and it was 3 bachelors and 1 lady who was picking the bachelor. And man, my dude said, yo, I know you're gonna do it, man. Yo, I dare you to go up there. I said, man, you know I fucking do it. I went up there fucking around because I said, I'm gonna go up here and fuck this shit up. Watch this. You know, I didn't go up there, I didn't give a fuck. I said, I'm gonna go up there and clown out. Watch this. He said, all my dudes are, you fucking crazy, yo. He gonna fucking do it. I went on stage as one of the bachelors. I sat in that motherfucking chair. My homeboy's like, yeah, you a fool, man. You a fucking fool. Yo, I went up there and every question she asked me, yo, I was ripping so hard. Like the motherfuckers was going crazy in the fucking student center. I said, oh shit, I'm killing these motherfuckers.
I can't believe it.
The power of that shit fucked me up so bad.
How old?
This is something I always wanted to do.
How old were you?
Oh,
Shit, I was like 17, 18, 19, 20.
Oh, that's fine.
20.
I was 20
This
years
is when
old.
Jerry Brooks
20 years- no,
became
I
JB
say-
Smoove.
Right.
You know what? 20 because
we gotta get into that.
I literally did 3 years at Norfolk State. Let me tell you something. I ripped that shit so hard, just off of like
Off of that.
improving, just like thinking some shit in the moment. And I got the bug, man, and I literally ran out of money that next month, and I didn't have enough money to go back. So I went to student center, the finance department, trying to get a loan. They wouldn't give me shit. I tried to get a job before I left. Couldn't get a fucking job at the mall. I tried everything. I said, yo, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I went
time to
back
go.
to New York. Literally went back to New York. All this shit happened at one time. Went back to New York, and literally, I said, I ain't going back. I said, did you hear those motherfuckers? I always wanted to do this shit, being a fan of Richard Pryor and Red Fox and Bill Cosby and all these people I was in love with. Would play their albums when I was little. My mom would leave, go to work. I would play that shit. And I said, that's what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I literally, everything happened at one time. I went back, that's the same fucking week I went back, Rob, and I literally started like trying it. And I ended up at Uptown Comedy Club. I met her mom. All this shit happened at one time. It was weird. All this happened at the same fucking time.
And the first time I ever heard you say this story like that.
Yo, that was my first time ever on a stage. But I knew, I knew how you
feel it.
You know how to do something, but you don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? You don't know how to do it, but you know how to do it. But you just got to get on there and you got to give it a try.
Yes.
Right. You believe in that? Like concept? Like
absolutely. Because like the reason I know it to be true is because as a little kid, like he said, we in the same projects, we listened to the same, all our parents had those albums. And we were sneaking in when they out and listened to Red Fox and Richard Pryor and Moms Maybe All of them. And as a little kid, I knew that something, it connected with me. I wanted to do it. But again, everybody we seen to us look older, like older people. So I thought in my head of thinking was, oh, this is a hobby. So when I get finished doing what I'm doing, that's the hobby I'm going to do. I knew I would do it, but I thought later because I had a record deal. But I got, right out of high school, I got signed to B-Boy Records with KRS One and all that shit. So I'm like, me and my crew about to do this. You know what I mean? And what happened is, like I said, when he invited us out, I'm sitting there. And something's staring at me, watching this shit the first week. Second week, I take out the nigga who ripped the stage up. So you know I'm feeling empowered. So third week I come back, JB's like, no, fuck that shit. You want to do it? Put him up. They had the New Jack segment. I do 3 minutes. I'm like, it's goofy as fuck, but it's getting laughs. I come back the next week, give me 3 more. The third week I come back, Keith said, come on, man. You did 2 in a row, man. Give somebody else a chance. But that was a blessing that he didn't put me up because that's how I discovered the Uptown. Because I couldn't go up there. It forced me to go outside of that
outside your box
and find some more shit.
It's crazy when things just align like that. How about you? I know this story. Well, the first time you in the phone company?
Yeah, the first, I'm still at the phone company. People don't realize on Sundays back when we was coming up, they used every Sunday, it was all the Dangerfields, comic strip, all the clubs, blah, blah, blah. And tell you who's going to be there. Chris Rock, Mario Joyner, blah, 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 Judy Gold. I said, I'm going to do this. I went to one club called Rags to Riches. They're not even open no more. And it was an open mic night, talent. So I went and did the open mic night and was the funniest guy by far. I guess I really wasn't nervous. It was like I had 5 minutes material and you only do 3 minutes. So it's like everything killed and I had more bullets to use.
So
and
you
I
prepared
wrapped up
stuff? Or you
I prepared. I went prepared. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. And I really was too ambitious to not think that it wouldn't work. I had fun. And the thing in this game is you have to connect. And people going up there structured. So my mother, and I was just like, you have a blah, blah, blah. And they were like happy I was there. And when I left, it felt like walking into a casino for the first time and you drop. You pull a thing and you win, and you like, oh man, why am I working? Like, I'm coming back Thursday to do this. Like, I'm going to Atlantic City every weekend.
Right.
But that was a mainstream mic.
Right. So then what happened later on, a couple of weeks after that, I'm still at the phone company, at the comic strip, I was like, okay, Eddie Murphy came from comic strip, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler. I was like, okay. So it was a bringer show, and you're supposed to bring 5 people. And at the phone company, people believed in me for some reason.
That's so nice.
So like 20 people came out. And you know, in the jobs, they call you by your last name. Stapleton, you gonna go see Stapleton? You gonna go see Stapleton? And I was like, oh, yeah. Bring it 20, because they want you to bring people to buy drinks and stuff. So I was getting ready to go up. You know, you check the list, and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay. And I'm getting ready to go on. Everybody's there early. And then Chris Rock walks in. So I'm like, ooh, Chris Rock. In my head, it's the same thing with Eddie Murphy. Like when Eddie discovered Chris, like I'm out of here. I'm ready to write my regs. I'm ready to quit my job. Like I'm done. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ooh, Chris gonna watch me. And and fly me out, blah, blah, blah.
The fantasy, the dream.
And I was supposed to go on next, but Chris Rock went on.
Oh, he bumped
And
you.
I didn't realize that you could
Get
go
bumped.
on whenever
That's
you
funny.
wanted to.
Yeah, when
at
you're
that
that
status. So he went on. I was like, hey.
You thought it was your
first
turn.
I told him to list it.
I think y'all made a mistake.
But I had 22 people here. So Chris Rock did his thing, stayed on there, killed, blah, blah, blah. And then when he
Left
got
right
off, he
after.
left. I was like,
He's so rude.
I'm like, oh, you missing this. I went up there, I did so bad, you could hear the cabs driving by outside. But
You went right after
I
Chris Rock.
went right after Chris Rock. But it was the biggest learning experience of my life. I learned to bring your own energy to the stage. Don't care who goes on before you or after you, bring your own energy. Be a parade on the stage. And that's one thing that me and JB learned from the Brown brothers and all that. Just be a parade. Like, you know what I mean? So even though that show went bad and I had to see those people at work the next day, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Fire.
And that was the first
Yeah, I
couple
remember
times
that.
on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, y'all supposed to be better than us. I like one thing I like about him,
Oh my God.
like that he's already starting better than me because the namesake, right?
Yeah.
So when I started, you know, because with my background, where I got the name from, where I come from, it's just talent.
Yeah.
When I started for 25, 30 years, it was Harris came later when I started getting movies. I had to need a last name, but he started Talent Harris Jr. So, which was smart because I learned about 12 years into the game from my white colleagues how they really felt about me without knowing me, right? So I remember Bill Burr and all of them was talking and shit. It was like, yeah, man, can we keep it real with you? I'm like, yeah, keep it real. Hated you in the beginning. I said, and they said, we didn't even know you. Like, Cats was talking, like other white comics, like, it wasn't like that. We didn't know you, like, but we just hated the idea that there's a motherfucker calling himself talent. The balls on this motherfucker. And you know, black people, we don't think of it like that.
Yeah.
We just always got cool nicknames. Coming out of high school, I did graffiti. I did, like I said, rap group, motherfucking breakdance, and fucking commercial art. We had all this shit, football, basketball, baseball. So I needed a name that encapsulated everything. Like talent it just covered everything. But white people took it. Our counterparts took it a different way. What the fuck? I remember. I think it was Dave. He said, "Man, I looked at the fucking list." He's like, "Okay." He said, "Who the fuck is this motherfucker?" I'm not even there yet. He just told me later. Like this, like 12, 13 years later. I said, "Who the fuck is this?" To call himself. So then they get to know me, and then we were just cool for 13 years. It took them 13 years to go, "Can we holler at you, bro?"
This is such a fun conversation with our dads that we had to split it up into 2 parts. So this is part 1. Check out part 2 next week.